Why'd you say that just now? All right.
Okay. So not to put you on the spot, Lisa.
I
Okay.
mean,
Why not, right? Okay, I'm gonna start
yeah.
off with let's see. Let's Samantha, you're gonna be starting the interview, okay? Here goes. One, two, three.
Lisa, it's so wonderful to get to meet you today. My question for you is tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you all for this amazing opportunity to interview for Miss Asian Global. I can't wait to tell you more about my story and how I came here today to the interview at Miss Asian Global. So, a little bit more about me. I was born and raised in the predominantly white neighborhood of Chicago. So, I grew up in a world where I didn't see many Asian women just like me, and I couldn't see myself as a leader. And I really feel like that shaped the way I connected with my Asian heritage, as well as my ability to see myself doing amazing things. After I decided to pack up everything that I owned and moved from Chicago to Houston, I packed up everything into my Camry and I drove down to Houston. I thought to myself, I really want to create a community, a world that I didn't have growing up. And so after moving to Houston, I started an organization called Project Empower Her. And this was actually geared towards creating a world where Asian women could see themselves as a future leader. And so I take these young women from high schools in Alief and Bel Air, which are predominantly Asian neighborhoods, and I teach them how to become the next change makers of the world. And so I'm really excited to share with you as a part of my journey and how I'm here today at the Miss Asian Global interview.
Great, thank you. Let's go with Judge Ashley.
Thanks, Lisa, for sharing some about your story. On the note of stories, what's the last book you read?
Great question. So, this is a book that I really love. It's called The Book of Happy. And I remember picking this book up when I was a teenager and I was very angsty and had a lot of difficult moments growing up. And I remember flipping through this book and being like, none of this applies to me. I feel like this is very invalidating for my experience. But recently, I re-picked up that book as an adult. And I actually saw that a lot of the life lessons on how to be happy and taking accountability for my own actions has truly shaped me as an adult. And now I'm able to chase my dreams with reckless abandon and keep going even though the road is hard. Thank you.
Great. Judge Chloe.
Okay, so my question for you is I think Asian women are often underrepresented in media and leadership roles. How do you think we can change that?
I think the world needs to recognize that Asian women have been leaders all along. If any of you know Asian women, and we all are Asian women, we should know that Asian women have always been fit and suited to lead. I know my mother has led my household with such grace, such elegance, such power and determination. And I know that Asian women deserve this spot in our society. And so this is how I believe that Project Empower Her encapsulate this. And this is also a big part of my mission and platform. Thank you for interviewing with me today.
Ashley, I love this. This is great. Thanks for adding this to our culture. Okay, who wants to give any feedback to Lisa? Anyone at all?
I can
See
start.
Samantha's hands.
Oh shoot, I didn't mean to. Okay, what's happening? Okay. So Lisa, first of all, great job. I love your posture. I think it's been improving this whole entire time, but it's been especially prominent in today's interview. I also loved your use of hand gestures. It was very expressive, but it wasn't too much where I was like being distracted by them. So it was very intentional. But that's something you're always really good at. Your tone is just as friendly and excited and bubbly as your usual self. So I think just keep that up as well. And in terms of your content, in that short 3 minutes, we were able to hear a lot about you and not only just like your upbringing, but about
Mm,
your Project Empower Her, about your mission, like almost like your social platform in a sense, kind of tying it into
mhm.
that really short response. And then we also just got to hear more about you as a person, which I think was great. I think your responses were excellent. I think honestly, this is even though it was really short and we didn't really get a lot of time to really get to know you, I thought like in this short 3 minutes, you were able to answer three questions. So it's about a minute per question. You're right there on pace. And I would give you a solid 9 out of 10. Excellent job.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Beautiful. Anyone else got any feedback? Just Joy.
Lisa, I loved your hand gesture so much. Like you've always been great, but like
Thank you.
today, especially, I noticed like the little fingers and like movements like this, very great. Like, and yeah, content was really great and tone was also good. One thing that I thought was really good too was a lot of the questions in today's session are not the usual questions, but you were able to answer
Mm.
them really well. So great job. 9 out of 10.
Thank you, Joy.
Awesome. Anyone else? Yes, Chloe.
I really think when I like even like across the screen, you come off like really bubbly and it's like we're on FaceTime. Like it feels like I've known you for a while. Like I love how
Aw.
your energy like shows through the screen and just like the way you talk about things, they're casual, but they're not too casual. And I guess that's something I personally like. I like that it's not like too formal, like it's too scripted. I like how you kind of just flow and like put your own kind of spark into your answers. And yeah, honestly, 10 out of 10 for me.
Thank you, Chloe.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Anyone else before I jump on to the next delegate? No? Okay. Again, great job, Lisa. Wonderful. What amazing improvement over every time we've worked together. So awesome. Good work. Okay. Let's go with Jennifer. You ready, Jennifer?
I'll just do it to get it over with.
Yes, yes. Let's just pull that band-aid off right now.
Yep. Hold on a second. Get up. Move my cheek here. Okay. I mean,
Okay,
this is
ready?
okay.
Yeah, I can see you pretty well, right? Okay. All right. I'm gonna start with you. Okay, Denise? All right. Ready? 1, 2.
Hi, Jennifer. So my first question for you today would be, how do you handle failure or rejection?
Thank you, Denise, for your question. How I handle failure was usually, to me, I always believe that if I fail on something, I shouldn't look down on it. I should find it as a room for improvement instead. And anytime I feel like I'm failing something, I always got to think about what's coming up next, what's even better that I can do. Because if I don't, then in the end, I'm just going to be sad all day. And, this is something that I want to teach other people as well. So that way they will understand how to move on with life and how they can do better in life. And so to me, just thinking about failure is just not an option, really. It's something that, again, is a room for improvement, and that's what I really want to focus on. It is, anything that I want to do better, anything that I need to do better. And it's great to listen to outside sources too. So that way they can give you feedback, telling you what you can do and what you can learn from that. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Lena?
Hi, thank you for your response. I really like that. Can you tell us who is your role model?
Thank you, Lena, for your question. So my role model is actually my grandma, and why she is my role model? Well, it's because one, she is very, very old. She is 90 years old, and another thing is, so her whole entire life, she just struggles taking care of her kids, her husband, everything. That's like normal in Asian culture, where the woman does everything for their kids and their husband, and pretty much the whole entire family, even the mother-in-laws and father-in-laws. And for a woman like her, she's very hard working. She all she does is eat vegetables too. So then she's very healthy because she eats vegetables, and she's a very independent woman. People in our culture, people believe that women are meant to be just to be listened to towards men and other people. But my grandma, she has her own words. She's a very strong, independent woman, and she shows me that if you want to get anything done, you must listen to yourself, and that's why again my grandma is.
Thank you so much. Pauline?
If you had a perfect day, or can you describe to me what your perfect day would be?
Thank you for your question, Pauline. So a perfect day for me would be just having a rest day, a day where I don't have to deal with anything or feel stress free. And like my cats, I absolutely love being with my cats, and being around them. They're like my energy boosters. So once again, for a great day for me would be just like a stress free day. Thank you for your question, Pauline.
Very well done there, Jennifer, ending it exactly on time there. Okay, anyone want to give any feedback on Jennifer's interview?
I would like to know how to do my hands.
Lisa, please.
Hey, Jennifer. I've seen a lot of really amazing improvements in your interviewing in the last couple of sessions, especially with your posture, your eye contact, and your hand motions. So definitely celebrate that. I definitely feel like you had a lot. I mean, you answered 3 questions in 3 minutes, so great pacing. I will say that I would love to have had like a little bit of a lead in and lead out. And I know this is tricky with only 3 minutes, but it kind of felt like we were doing 3 different Q&As rather than like a storyline of, and that's usually what we're looking for in that interview session. So if you can, try to think about like, how am I going to answer that first question and still tell my story rather than jumping straight into how you would handle a challenge? Because I think a story could have really illustrated how you handle challenges or failure rather than just telling us what you would do. I think, again, posture, I loved your smile and hand gestures looked great. I think a little bit more variety would really help you. So I saw a lot of this and I thought that was great. Let's see if we can take it a little further. And again, great job getting those 3 questions in. I loved seeing all of the improvements in you. I would give you a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Very good. Excellent. Anyone else? Denise.
Hi, Jennifer. I also did notice that throughout the weeks, you've improved a lot. I could see your posture and your hand gestures are getting better. Just following up on what Lisa said also, I would like you to have like shared a story with the question that I gave with the challenge, just so that the judges get to know you more on a personal level.
Excellent.
But
Very
overall, really good job.
awesome. Thank you. And Pauline, I think, right?
Hi, it's just my first speech session. I don't really like know, exactly like any like specific feedback. I just wanted to say that I really like your voice. You had a really pretty voice. And I just like the way I like hearing you talk. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Anyone else? No, yeah, and I agree. You have a beautiful voice, Jennifer. Okay, my feedback to you, Jennifer, is you have all the foundations for a great interview, but I totally am going to echo what Lisa said. I want more of it. I want more variety in your hand gestures and more variety in your intonations, your volume, and your rate. Everything there is good, but not quite enough to make something stand out, but it's there. It's totally there, okay? So I want what you have right now to just be amplified more. But your content's great, spot on. But amplify everything you already have to work with, okay? Great job. Okay. Joya, you're next. You ready?
Yes, I hope nobody walks by.
Well, I guess that'll be part of the interview then. Okay, I'm gonna start off with you, okay, Natalie? So make sure you have a question ready.
Wait, sorry, give me a second. I can't see. Okay.
All right, got it. All right. Hope you can see the timer. But all right, ready, Natalie? In 3, 2.
Hello, can you tell me about why do you want to do this pageant?
Hi. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone for the opportunity to allow me to be here on stage today and share my story. One of the reasons why I wanted to join the pageant was because I wanted to step out of my comfort zone in the last year. For the last 5 years, I had been previously working in New York as a software engineer. And as a software engineer, which is a very male-dominated field, I've always felt like I had to suppress parts of my personality and parts of my style. And so being part of the pageant is a way for me to embrace all of my personality, just not just my technical side, but also to embrace my femininity. And that is why I decided to join the pageant.
Thank you. Judge Samantha.
Joy, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself. Can you tell me what your favorite movie is?
Yes, I would love to answer that question. So, my favorite movie is Devil Wears Prada because that is a movie that inspired me to go and work in New York City. I grew up in Jakarta, Indonesia, on the other side of the world, where at that time I didn't know anyone who worked and lived in New York. But watching that movie inspired me and made me rethink what I thought was possible for myself. And although it was a fictional movie, it helped me lay the foundation for my dream, which was the last 5 years of my professional career.
Beautiful. Thank you. Judge Ashley.
Hi, Joy. If you were stranded on an island, what are the 3 things that you would bring?
Hello. So, if I were stranded on an island, the 3 things I would bring would be my journal, my pen, and probably a really comfortable pair of shoes. The reason why I would bring a journal and a pen is because journaling and just writing is such a huge part of my identity and my life. And I would assume being stranded on an island would mean that I don't have anyone to talk to for a significant period of time. And comfortable shoes because I would try and figure out a way to get out of that island, and that would require me to be comfortable and without blisters.
Beautiful. Thank you. Jennifer.
Hello, Joy. So, talking about being on an island, okay, I know that you live in the city side, but if you were living in the countryside, what would be the first thing that you would do in the countryside?
That is a very beautiful question. One of the first things I would do if I were on a countryside would be to just sit on grass because I love sitting and grass on grass and being able to journal and just reflect on life. And that would be
Thank
one
you so much for the interview, Joy.
Okay.
No worries. So again, please always keep your eye. There will be a timer. FYI, there will be a timer in the actual interview during pageant week. It'll be right off to the side. Emily Smith is usually the one in charge of the timer while I'm in the back doing all the recording. But again, whether it's you speaking or the judge speaking, you will be cut off. So make sure you keep an eye on the timer. It's right off to the side as much as possible. Make that as part of your training there. But overall, I love feedback from anyone else. Anyone? Yes, Lisa.
Joy, were you able to see the timer? I feel like maybe you didn't see it. Oh, I can't hear you.
I'm
Sorry.
still blind today. My new glasses are coming in a week.
Got it. Okay, so it wasn't because you saw it and you just kept going. All right. I think if you were able to see, there's a strategic thing that you could have done with that last question. So this is something that happens to me a lot too, where I'm like, oh, there's 30 seconds left. I don't know if I can fit another question in because a judge might take 10 to 15 seconds just to ask you that question. And then you only have 15 seconds to answer probably a very difficult question. You could take the question that you were answering and take it all the way to the end rather than letting the judges be in control. So I think we've talked about this a couple of times. We're like, who's in control of the interview? We want to make sure that it's you. We want to make sure that you have a game plan of what you're going to do if you have X seconds left. I speak quickly, so I think I can take that chance sometimes. But if you prefer to take your time on that question, I would take that second question all the way to the end. I won't go through the whole thing. I think you did a lot better than last time. Just work on the timing.
Thank
Good
you.
job, Joy.
Yep. Awesome. Anyone else? Yes, Samantha.
Joy, first of all, I just wanted to say your posture was great this time, and I really did like just your physical appearance. The one thing with the hand gestures, it was still a little distracting, but we're getting better. We're getting there. They're getting a little more intentional and less like distracting, but just keep working on that and just keep continuing to find maybe like a home for your hands to rest, like a resting point. But of course, your content is always very, very you, we're able to see your personality, and I love those responses. I think just control the hand motions a little bit more, but excellent job. I would give you an 8 out of 10.
Excellent. Anyone? Hey, Pauline, do you have a comment?
Oh no, I was just like clapping.
Oh, clapping. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. All right. Anyone else have any feedback? Yes.
For feedback. Same thing with Lisa and Samantha. I think you've really improved. I wasn't here last week, but then, I could see that, like you said, you didn't see the time. But I think that, because I know the last time when we did it, you rounded up like really well. And I think that if you saw the time, it would have been great. Same thing like with Samantha's hand motions. I did see like similar ones. Let's try to change it up. I know I have to also, but let's try to learn how to change it up a little bit. Posture was really good. You just kind of like stood there, straight, like, it was just looks professional. So I think that it was really good. And then your tone, our verbal voice, it was really good too. Very clear, and I like it. So yeah. Oh, sorry. And also 8 out of 10. There you go.
Great. Anyone else have anything to add? No? All right. Great job overall for what you're doing there, Joy. I'd say you're a lot less on autopilot now and much more intentional. You're still doing a lot of this, but not as much, and you're also doing a little more variety, which is great. B, as far as the content goes, you're always great with that, and you're much more varied now in your inflection. I want more of that if possible. And there's so many things you could do with like your hand gestures. You just have to be very intentional and in a moment with your hands as well as your voice. So like when I think Lisa asked, or someone asked, what were the 3 things you would take on the island? Was that Ashley or Lisa? I forgot. But I'm sorry, Ashley or Jennifer. That was Ashley. Okay, yeah.
That was me.
That was you. Okay,
Yeah.
that was a great question. So those are 3 things you could do with your hand gestures. Like you could say, I would take a pen and a journal and I would write, you could actually do those with your hand. Like tell a story with your hands while you are telling a story with your voice. Okay, so many things you can engage your hands with your voice with. But otherwise, huge improvements from last time. So great strides in your improvement there. So overall, great job, Joy. Keep it up and keep going up. Okay. Denise, as the next alumni, I'm gonna have you go. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me fine?
Yep, we can hear you. Okay, and I'm gonna start with you. Okay, Lisa. All right, and can you hopefully you'll be able to see the timer, Denise. Okay, and
Give me 1 second to think of a good one.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, ready.
3, 2.
Denise, welcome to the interview. I'm so excited to learn more about you. Can you tell us what makes you a queen?
Hello, everyone. First, I want to say thank you for having me for a second time this year. So I think that what makes me a queen is I'm very passionate, and not only about myself and my hobbies, but I'm also passionate about my community. So my social platform for this year is actually advocating about the toxic standard of beauty in the Asian community. And so I hope that with a title, I could spread more awareness about the toxicity and all the mental health effects that the beauty standards in the Asian communities affects women. And so I think that being a queen is being passionate and also caring for our community.
Great, thank you. Judge Chloe.
Hi, Denise. Yes. What is one world problem that you're passionate about or might consider trying to fix it?
So right now, something that I'm very passionate about is actually climate change. I recently wrote a paper for my biology class about climate change and how it affects our respiratory system. And thinking about the future generation, it really concerns me of how we can bring them in a healthy environment. So something I'm really passionate about is climate change, and I hope that with a platform, I could also promote effective ways and sustainability that we could help better our community and also give our future generation a healthier environment.
Thank you. Judge Joy.
Hi, Denise. Why should you be the next queen?
I think that me and all my sisters are all worthy of this crown, but I think if I were to be given the title, I think I would really put Miss Asian Global into so many communities. I noticed that with my years in Miss Asian Global, I realized that Miss Asian Global isn't really known in the Filipino community. And it's something I really want to bring to my community as well, because pageantry is a really big part of our culture. And growing up, I've always watched pageantry. And I think that bringing this organization into all the Filipino women, it would really inspire them to step out of their comfort zone and really use this platform as to make impacts in our Filipino community and our culture.
Great, thank you. Judge Lena.
Hi, Denise. Really nice talking to you today. So tell us about your favorite book.
So I'm actually a big bookworm. I love reading books, and I wouldn't say I have a favorite book just because I've read so many, but I would say my favorite genre would be thriller and mystery because it really gets me thinking. And yeah, thank you for getting to know me today.
Thank you. Yeah, you forever affected the culture here, Ashley. So, feedback from anybody? Yes, Jennifer.
Yeah, to say that was so good. I liked it, honestly. I think that last time I was with you, we were talking about like repetitive words and everything. And then, okay, let's just start with their physical appearance. It was really good. You just kind of like so straight, like, at least set back straight and everything. The posture was just perfect. I absolutely loved it a lot. And then hand motion. So I saw a lot of this and this. Yeah, I saw this and this. But then, like, I can see that, you're going from here to here to here too with your hands, which is really good, Like Francis says, I think he wants a variety, strange, like random ones. So just to kind of like emphasize it a little more, which is, we can all work on again. But definitely that was really good. I think it was good personally. Verbal, voice control. Voice control was really good. It was really clear. It wasn't like very fast, very slow. It was, to me, I felt that that was perfect. I really like that a lot. Content, I love your content. Your content's amazing. You kind of like dive deep in there. I know that last question was really hard to bring in, but then like your 3 questions prior to that was really, really good as well. Personally, I think that it would be a 10 out of 10 just because it was really good. I liked it a lot. So yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else for any feedback? Yes, Samantha.
Denise, I absolutely love your posture. When you stand, you look so confident. And maybe it's because you know what to expect, but I can already tell you like that's going to be like your one defining factor. And then of course your intonation is really good as well. I like that you're not too formal, you're very friendly and casual, but not too casual. So it's a great balance. And I think you just have a really sweet voice, and that really helps you stand out in the interview. Just like Jennifer mentioned, content is excellent. The couple little small details I want to point out, though, I noticed you said, I think, a couple times. That might be one of your filler words. And for the last question, I'm just worried that some of the judges might say, oh, she didn't answer the question. So maybe just quickly start off by saying, this is my favorite book. And then you could say, I'm a huge like bookworm and all this other stuff, just so you can cover your bases. And I think with those little small adjustments, it would be a 10. I would say just a 9.5 just for those little tiny things. But I just want you to be as good as possible, ready to go for your interview. But excellent job as usual, Denise.
Thank you.
Anyone else for Denise? No? All right. Great job, Denise. A huge improvement from the last time I saw you in the interview room last year. You have a great foundation for going forward right now. I could just give you an 8. That to go from a 9 or a 10, I want, again, just more of everything you're doing. So just like Jennifer said, your hand gestures are great, but they can be better. So for example, I think, who asked you? Was it Joy that I think that asked you, why should you be the next Miss Asian Global Queen? That was a great example of where you got, for your hand gestures could be like, instead of just, this, I'd be like, well, if I could be queen, right? Just make a crown, I would. So there's so many things you guys can be creative with. So take it to that next level to get to that like 9, 10 level, okay? But I would give you an 8 right now. You're solid, but you're not at your full potential yet. Yes, Jennifer.
Okay.
Okay, this might kind of sound kind of weird, but like during interview, are we just supposed to stand there or can we walk?
No, you should need to stand right there. So stand in one space, and you need to make eye contact with her. Don't walk because there's a camera trained on you. If you walk in cameras, you're gonna walk out of the frame.
Okay, got it. Because my last pageant or our Hmong pageants, we kind of walk. So I just
There'll be a big X right there on the carpet. You walk, you stand at the X, and you can turn like to face the different judges, but you stay right in that X spot.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Great question though. Any other questions? No? Okay. So I think we went through all of the first batch of girls. That means that all that's left are the new girls. So who wants to go first? Or do I call on people?
I can go first.
Who wants to go first? Oh,
Um,
Natalie? All right, Natalie. All right, you want to stand up?
Yeah. So this is my first one. When you guys asked any feedback, I feel like you guys did perfect. I can't find any like like what's like critiques to improve.
Wait, so
Yeah.
are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, perfect.
But let me see.
You're gonna be awesome, Natalie.
I need to find a white spot.
That's good. And I'm gonna start off with, let's see, who was the last person asked the last question? Was it Lena?
Yeah.
No. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go with you. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go with you, Denise, and then I'm gonna jump over to Pauline. Okay. All right. Denise, are you ready?
Yep.
Soon as you ready, Natalie?
Yes.
All right. And Denise, in 3, 2.
Hi, Natalie. It is so nice to meet you. So my question for you today is, what is your social platform and why did you choose it?
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. My social platform is I want to create a community for underrepresented women, and I'm an immigrant. I'm from Macau. I was born and raised in Macau, and I came to the US by myself alone for college. And when I was 17, so I was always misunderstood and always got conflicted with people, and I would like to create a community and bring and give them more community to connect with different. Sorry, I don't know, more community to them. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Pauline.
If you could be an animal, what animal would you pick?
If I can be an animal, I would be a bird because I never been to really high. I don't usually take airplane that a lot. I usually like drive a lot. I would love to see a different perspective. And when I think of a problem, I meditate and I always feel myself in like a third person view, and I would put myself on like a bird eye view and then look at the problem. So I would like to try my own like physically to see how birds feel.
Okay. Jed, Samantha.
Natalie, what does sisterhood mean to you?
I have one stepsister, and she is 8 years older than me. So when I was little, when I was in kindergarten, she in high school, and then when I was in middle school, she already was working, and so we are not very big, we are very big gap. But I feel like her understanding and caring about me is really loving, and I learned a lot from her, and then I see this as one of my role model, and I teach this to my other friends, and I feel like it's caring, understanding, being able to be there with them when they need it. So thank you.
Judge Ashley. You're on mute.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
And thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I would love feedback from any of the pageant sisters for Natalie's first interview. Yes, let's go with Chloe.
Yeah, so I think you come off super authentic. I think everything you say like holds truth to it. Like it again doesn't sound scripted or doesn't sound like you are saying what the judges want to hear. It's more like what you truly feel. And something I noticed is like every time you got asked a question, you would look up. It would be like very obvious that you were thinking about what to say. And something that I like to do when I struggle to come up with an answer is say like, yeah, absolutely, like great question, or like thank you for asking. And then when I'm saying that, I think about what I'm gonna answer it with. So just like sandwiching like a thank you in front and then your answer that you've already thought about in those kind of 3 to 5 seconds, you say like thank you or like absolutely. But overall, I think you were really good, especially for the first time.
Thank you. Thanks for the feedback.
Thank you, Claire. Anyone else for feedback for Natalie's first interview? Yes, Jennifer.
Natalie, for your first time, I think that was really good. So I think that some things that you can do is kind of like what Chloe said, is that you keep looking up, and this is something that we all have a problem with. I'll be honest with you, especially first time, and. Francis last told us that one of the past candidates, what they did was they had like stuffed animals in front of the screen and just stared at them. And so, like for me, I think like I personally, I like to look at my camera. Like I have like a yellow dot right there. Sometimes I look at that and I'm like, I need to look at this right here. And like with the judges too, I'm just gonna let you know some tips is you, instead of looking at their faces, you can look like the top of their heads because it's gonna look like you're looking at them, okay? And so definitely eye contact is very important. Physical appearance. So I think that, you could do better physical appearance. I can see that you're very, very nervous, especially with your hands. Your hands are super nervous. Some things that we talked about in the past was, kind of like hold your hand tight as much as you can. But then, our goal right here is to move our hand gestures, okay? And with that, that we commonly do this a lot. And with your words, with your story, try to work with it, practice some more with it. Best to record yourself, maybe watch some YouTube videos and ask, like look up for like interview questions and practice it and record it yourself. So voice control, I think that you kind of, again, you sound very, very nervous, but then like, you know what you're going to share, you know what you want to say. And I think that context wise, sorry, is really, really good. But I think that with your voice, I think I want to hear like more of you, because it sounds like you're being forced to say something rather than hearing who Natalie really is. I want to hear the real Natalie, her, put some emotion and personality in there instead of making it seem like you're being forced to answer a question. But yeah, I think that I would give you a 5 out of 10, but it's your first time and you did really good. It's better than a 0, to be honest with you. So yeah, I think that's it. So good job.
Excellent. Great job. Thank you. Anyone else for feedback for Natalie's first interview? Yes, Lena?
Hi, Natalie. This is great job for the first time, I would say, because I would say like, myself is not good at like, public speech. So I would really like, like that, someone can say that, I can go first because I think this is already courage and you want to show your story to everyone. So this is a good thing. I think you may be a bit away, too far away from the laptop. That's why your voice is a bit low. But I think like, when you're in a room with interviewees, it will be important to just raise a voice a bit. Because that, I feel like that's a technique of like, showing people that you're confident and you like to like, tell them about yourself. So, although you may be feeling a bit nervous, but I just feel like, if you can like, just speak loudly, it's just gonna help. And like, when you speak, in between that process, probably you are already like, just fitting that environment and feel like, oh, I am confident of like telling my story.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you, Lena. Any other feedback? Yes, Lisa.
I just want to offer some encouragement to the girls who are coming here for their first time. Samantha and I and a lot of the girls who've been training here have done this so many times, and we've been cut off by the timer so many times at this point that we know what to expect. So I don't want you to feel bad about, when that happens, because that's why we're all here together to learn. And Natalie, I think you did an excellent job with your first interview. Keep going, don't give up. I would love to see a big smile on your face when you answer these questions, because you'll learn that a lot of this is not what you say. Of course, what you say is important, but it's how you are saying it and how you're using your body to communicate to the judges. So big smile, be excited, and let them know that you are proud to be a MAC delegate.
Perfect. Any other feedback from any other pageant sisters? No? All right. Great job, Natalie, for your first time. Echoes a lot of what I saw from the veterans here from their first time. So did a great job there. Obviously, the first I'm going to ask you to work on everything that your pageant just said. I 100% agree with hand gestures. We're going to work on that a lot. Your hand was very just like stiff and held on to each other like that. Maybe occasionally this. So that's the thing that needs the most work. The second thing would be obviously a little more intonation. Your content is great, just like I think Chloe said, it was very authentic and very true. So that's great. That's a beautiful strength you have. So we're just going to work on building on that strength, okay? But otherwise, great job for your first time. Absolutely wonderful. Good job. All right. You're welcome. Who is the next?
I can go next.
All right, Nina.
No, there's the old saying, like, better do it early than late.
All right, Lena, go ahead and get in your position and
Yeah, let me try if I can just stand. Let me do this. Probably better.
Yep, that's good. That's good. Yep, and we can hear you really well.
But how am I able to see the timer?
You can lean in once in a while if you need to, but that's about as big as I can make a timer. Okay, so basically, if you see it turn red, that's when you need to really like be aware of how how much little time you have when it turns from green to red. Okay. Who is
hear my voice clearly, or do I have to?
No, I can hear you pretty clear. Everyone can hear pretty clear. Okay. Who was the last person to ask a question? Was it Ashley? Ashley. Okay. I'm gonna jump over to you. Okay, Jennifer, you can start off. All right. Okay. You have a question ready, Jennifer?
Hold on, let me think of one. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. In 3, 2.
Hello, Lena. Nice to meet you today. So my question for you is, so we have 5 senses, okay? And out of the 5 senses, which one would you remove for the rest of your whole entire life and why?
Wow, thank you for this question. And this is actually a very good question. I believe that, everyone thinks the 5 senses are all important to us. But if I have to live out one of those, I would remove the sense to see the world. I think the reason is because I think it's important that we feel the world by our heart, and instead of just seeing everything, maybe our eyes are tricking us. Maybe what you have seen is not really the truth. So instead of just by seeing, I would prefer that I can actually hear the voices of others and also touch the hearts of others.
Beautiful. Thank you. Lisa.
Lena, I love that answer. Can you tell us about what your childhood was like?
Thank you for the question. Let me tell a bit about myself. I was born and raised in China, live in a small town. My grandma took care of me when I was a little kid, and she loved to tell me all about Chinese mythology and all those traditions, for example, how to make the desserts and all the stories about my family. So that actually raised my love for traditional Chinese culture. And when I came here to the States, that was when I was 22 years old. I just feel like, culture shock at first. And then I realized, even for the Chinese here, they probably don't know a lot about the culture. And I just feel like, it'd be great if people can raise appreciation for their own cultural heritage. And that's why I founded the Asian Fusion Association with my friends. We're trying to do lots of events, trying to introduce traditional Chinese culture to people, and also to, remove other people's misunderstanding about Chinese culture.
Thank you. Judge Joy.
Hi, can you tell us more about why you decided to join the pageant this year?
Sure. I like that question. And actually, I joined a pageant last year, so that gave me a little bit experience. But what I would say is I love MAG more than the other pageants is because it gives me a larger platform to actually speak out for my voices. For example, I really want to raise people's attention about the biases to the Asian women's, because we're always fighting for those, fighting against the biases. And I believe that, a bigger platform is always a good opportunity to show that, women can be leaders, women can talk about their stories, women can be seen and can be heard. So I believe that, it is important.
Thank you so much for the interview.
I have to say that I haven't seen that timer. I mean, when the red pops out, I feel like it's almost the end. I cannot just wrap it up.
we'll teach you how to wrap it up because in the actual interview itself, you will see it'll be very clear, but the colors will also change very similar to this. You'll go from green to orange to red very quickly, and you see that.
Yeah, because I thought that was like 30 seconds left, and then suddenly it just
Yep, it goes very fast. It usually turns red right when you have about 20 seconds. So when you see that, you wrap it up. Even if you're in the middle
Okay.
of a sentence, you go. And that's pretty much what I would love to share with you. Thank you. And just like you've seen some of the other girls go, just thank them. Thank you. You have like 10 seconds to say, thank you so much for letting me share my story. I really, just to take up time so that you don't have like 10 seconds of dead air, but end it gracefully as you can. Yeah. It's ending it gracefully is actually more important than trying to squeeze in a little bit more information. Okay? Because they will remember, the judges remember everything of how you made them feel in terms of the interview. So I would love to hear any kind of feedback from anyone. Yes, Jennifer?
Okay, so I think Lena, for your first time, you were actually really good, you didn't really show any like nervousness or fear. I know you mentioned it earlier, but honestly, I didn't see that in you. You were like, ready. It's like I'm prepared for this. I know I'm gonna say, I know I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it. That's what it seemed like. And then, hand gestures were actually really good. We can improve better, but definitely really good for a first timer. And then like your eye, you're looking at us, so you're really focused on us, and I think that was really, really good. Another thing is, wrapping it up. It's actually normally really, really hard. You know what I did my first one? But I always said, so yeah, and then yeah. It was so funny. But like, yeah. So I think you did really good wrapping it up. But I think we could do better. We can go back and rephrase everything that you kind of said to kind of like narrow it down. I think one of the sessions, Lisa, she literally started from the first question and then brought it down from the first, second, third, fourth, and then she literally brought all the questions back or her answers back. And then I think that it's really important that we do that because they want to hear about us really. And context was really good. I do think that your posture could be better. I don't know if it's because you're trying to look at the timer, but it kind of seems like you're kind of like leaning in, or you're just kind of like crouching in. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure either.
Yeah, maybe I was trying to like look through the screen, looking at you, and
yeah, because I know that it's really hard with everybody on the screen, and the timer itself is very small. But posture definitely. Just keep your back straight. Keep it all up. It's really important again, and make you look professional. So yeah, I think it was not bad. I think it was good. I think if anything, it'll probably be about like, I would say maybe 7.5 out of 10.
Awesome. Very cool. And Ashley?
Thanks. Trying to figure out this feedback. So I'm not gonna hit all the points, but I thought it was really great how you connected all of your questions to like something bigger. And that was all I had to say.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks, Lena.
Anyone else? Yes, Samantha.
First of all, amazing job for your first interview. You covered so much amazing content. And I think that's, and then maybe I'm just speaking for Lisa and me, like, I just know that we wanted to say so much in the beginning, but we've learned to pare it down. And I think that's a skill in and of itself that you will learn through this. But I think I love your content, first of all. I love that you already know what your social platform is going to be. You are like very motivated, and it shows in your tone. You could just see the excitement, the enthusiasm for what you're talking about. I do love your hand gestures as well, and everything that Jennifer and Ashley already mentioned. I think the one struggle, if I had to anticipate what it might be, is similar to Lisa and myself, where we want to say all of these things, but it ends up being better to pare it down a little bit. So I think that's something I'm really excited to see you transform over time through our practice sessions and then our own that we do together as a group. But amazing job for your first interview. I would give that a solid 7.
Thank you, Samantha.
Good. Anyone else? No? Okay. Yes, Lena, great job for your first interview, for coming in for first time. Very solid. A lot of great stuff for me to work with on you in terms of, I feel like you have a lot of strong foundations. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take all of that and we're gonna learn how to channel it into very intentional sound bites and in presentations. So right now you have all this powerful energy. Now we're gonna learn how to focus them very intentionally, okay? Versus like everything at wall at one time, which I saw Lisa and Samantha do when I first started to train them, and now they're like very controlled in how they express their information, and that's actually a very powerful strategy when you only have 7 minutes with the judges. Okay, so it's going to be channeling. Okay, but otherwise, great job, and in good solid hand gestures, we're going to learn more variety and more focus, more intention. But otherwise, great job, Lena.
Thank you. Yeah, I was actually a fun fact. I mean, I was like halfway answering the questions and I realized, oh, probably I should move my hands. And I was also, thinking on the questions at the same time, thinking of like what kind of hand gestures I can make. So it's kind of like distracted.
That's okay. It's all going to become more and more natural with practice. Okay. Who would like to be next? Chloe. All right, Chloe. Who was the last? Who was the last person to ask a question? Who was the last person to ask a question? Was it? Do you remember who that last person?
Joy.
Was it Joy? Was it you, Joy? All right, Joy. So let's go with you, Ashley. Ready? All right. And 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Chloe. We're so happy to have you here today. And actually just going to use my prior question because it didn't get answered. What is your proudest accomplishment?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. I've been really excited and looking forward to this interview. So, one of my proudest accomplishments is creating Women of the World. It is a club at my school that has 98 members now. This is actually our first year of establishment, but I actually founded this club because of my own experiences. I'm a product of sexism, and it is a reoccurring experience, especially as a woman in the STEM field. I do robotics, and I've done it since I was in 4th grade, and just realizing that stereotypes can take hold at a young age, but I didn't realize that when I was younger. Now that I've realized it, I'm really proud that I created something that can aid and help other women that were struggling in the same place as I was.
Great, thank you. Let's go with Denise.
Hi, Chloe. My question for you today is, if you had a time machine, where would you go?
Yeah, so if I had a time machine, I would go back to when I was younger, when probably 4th or 5th grade. I remember having a really big problem with struggling of which identity to choose, my Chinese identity or my American one. And I think that's a really common experience with all types of Asian women, especially ones that were born in America and raised in America. I really struggled with just like when I was eating my lunches, people would just make fun of the smell, or just, I think that's a really common experience. And just learning how to embrace both, I think would be something I would want to change back in my past.
Great, thank you. Judge Samantha.
Hey, Chloe. What keeps you up at night?
So something that keeps me up at night as a 17-year-old girl in high school is being a senior and having to go through college apps. I'm privileged to be in an area that is pretty privileged to have their resources. I grew up in a nice neighborhood. I have a lot of resources catered to me that I try to take advantage of. And I think that I kind of forgot the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The question is, what keeps you up at night?
Okay, yeah. So basically college applications, it's also really nerve-wracking with people that are so accomplished around me. But instead of finding that as kind of as a conflict, I think just being inspired by those people is something I've really taken into consideration. So thank you so much again for having me and letting me share my story with all of you.
Wonderful. Okay, let's go with Jennifer.
Wait, really quick, Francis, before we leave, can we do this and you take a picture of us
We'll
doing
do that and take a picture. Thank you, Ashley, for like
Yeah,
literally.
you know, we look like birds. It's so cute. I
This
can't help
is
it.
this is
Okay,
this is now literally part of this class's culture. Okay, good. So
okay, but going on, Chloe, so I think that was really good. Okay, I feel like I think it's everybody's favorite word because I did hear that several times. If that's your filler word, I've noticed that you say I think a lot. So, you know, try to get rid of the I think. Like in school, I was told that, you know, I think it's actually not a really good word to use. It's good to use like I believe or I know because it's something that you want to be confident about, you know? And then hand gestures. Hand gestures were actually pretty good. It's not bad. It's kind of hard because your camera's kind of like, you know, like up here. I did see it go down like this several times. So maybe kind of hold it up a little more. But your hand gestures were so bad. And again, we can work with that too. First time was really good. I've noticed your eyes, you know, like you said, you kept looking up, you kept looking left and right, up, left and right. And so try to focus more on us again. Posture standing up wise was really good. I think that your verbal like annotation was really good as well. It wasn't so bad. Context, I think context was really good. Remember how you said you forgot what the question was? So I don't know if for Francis, I don't know if that is it bad to ask the question again, right? Because I think
yeah, if you really truly forgot the question, try your best to remember the question because if you forget the question, you do need to answer the question. So if you really forgot the question, then you have to like, I'm sorry, what was the question again? You can do that. Because I think it's more important to answer the question than to pretend like you're answering a question that you thought was asked and wasn't asked.
yeah, so I was gonna say, so you did answer the question, and that's the whole point is any questions they ask, you want to make sure that you answer the question. Don't go around it because you definitely will lose points because they want to hear your answer, you know? And so with you forgetting what the question was, sometimes I do that too. Just kind of round it up, okay? Just round it up and then let the next judge go. Just say kind of like Francis said earlier, and that's why I believe because I think the last thing you said was about how about high school and then just round it up like really quick and just be like and that's the reason why, you know, and then that way you can move on to the next question. It doesn't make it look so awkward, but if you can ask the question again, I guess you're free to ask again. So yeah, it wasn't so bad. I think that was really good. You kind of seem a little confident in yourself. I think we can definitely do better from there. I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I think Lisa.
Chloe, my other Houston, Texas girl. So I just want to say I'm so proud of you. I think that something that you can really lean on in this pageant and that you should lean on is how old you are. I heard it at the very end, like that you're a high school senior, and I think you're so well spoken and amazing that you should really lead with this because you're gonna really impress the judges that a high school student is able to speak this well. I actually really love that you asked what question it was again. I have a bad habit of just blowing through the question. And sometimes I like totally forget that I'm not answering the question. So it's really important that you do ask that. So great job. And I put a prompt in the chat for folks who might black out just like me, because sometimes my mind goes blank. And it's just, I want to make sure I'm answering your question. Could you please repeat it for me so I get it right? And this is like demonstrating to the judges you are committed to answering the question. Chloe, I think you did amazing for your first interview. Can't wait to see all the other things that you grow in, especially with like learning more about your platform. I learned a lot from you in just 3 minutes. Great job.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Samantha.
I thought that was such a phenomenal first interview. And honestly, you don't seem like a 17-year-old at all. You seem so much more mature. You have such a depth of knowledge and just inspiration of what you want to do and what you want to give to this world. But you should just highlight, like, hey, I'm only 17, but this is what I want to do. This is the impact I want to make in the world. I think you strike a really good balance in terms of your intonation. It's not too formal, but you also still maintain that 17-year-old girl. And I think that's so adorable. And I love that. So keep that. Don't let that go. And everything that everyone else said, I completely agree with. I also think that you have like just great content. You just need to like refine it over time, but that'll just take a lot of practice and we can just keep practicing together. I think the one thing I want to mention is when you started, make sure you have a really strong starting or opening statement. You don't want to say like, oh yeah, so this. And I know that's not exactly what you said. I can't remember exactly, but I did pick up on that. Make sure you're starting off on a very confident foot, and this goes for everyone. It's hard to not put those filler words in at first, but just lean into this confidence and it will become natural over time. But excellent job, Chloe. I would give you a 7.5 for your first interview.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Samantha. Anyone else? Feedback? I know. Chloe, great job. I love the fact, yeah, I would agree with Lisa. Definitely emphasize the fact that you're coming in as one of the youngsters coming in. I love that you touched on early how sexism was introduced very early on in your life as a STEM girl. One of a great way to make sure you don't forget the question is to use the formula that I've gone over with you guys, and I'll go over again. And you guys can write this down if you guys haven't written it down. Tell me what you're gonna tell me. Tell me what you told me. Right? So you can say, which was the question you forgot? Was that from Samantha? What keeps you up at night? So you can say, what keeps me up at night is my thoughts of being a senior. Explain that, and so that is what keeps me up at night. That will help reinforce the question because you repeat it again to yourself to make sure that you're committed to answer. And that also makes it to where you just answer the question in your first sentence. This is what keeps me up at night. Then you explain it and then recap it. And so that's why that keeps me up at night. Okay, so that will help you maintain track and focus on what the question was asked instead of just blowing through it and be like, I'm sorry, wait, did I answer your question? So keep it intact. That's a structure that you use. So we're trying to teach you guys structure, strategy, and focus. Okay? Hand gestures are great. They can be stronger and better, but as your first interview, amazing, strong presence of hand gestures already to begin with. Otherwise, great job, Chloe. Really, really well done. Okay, we're down to 2 pageant sisters, Pauline and Ashley. Which one of these would like to go next? Pauline, all right, you're next. All right, Pauline, and let's go. Who was the last person to ask a question? Was it Samantha? Or, okay, so you're gonna be the next person to ask a question. Okay, Natalie? Okay?
Okay.
You have a question ready, Natalie? Natalie?
Timer I can start now.
Yeah, you ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3, and.
Hi, Pauline. We're so excited to have you to be here. Can you tell me about what's your favorite villain?
Hi, thank you so much for your question. Such a fun question. My favorite villain is in a movie I just saw recently called Sinners. And I'm really not good with thrillers at all. And then it's like a black vampire movie that discusses racism, what true freedom is, slavery. And the main villain is of Irish descent. And he was just so complex about sending the message of freedom, like come be a vampire in me, you'll be set free. But truly, vampirism is about seductive temptation, but it's like a trap for eternity. You will never die, and you're stuck to live with this life forever. You'll never age. You'll never feel, the sun on your warm body ever again. And watching that movie, maybe it was the actor, but I was just so scared by him. And he sends such a strong message about, not everything is free, or are we truly free, Thank you.
Thank you. Chloe? Oh.
I'm so sorry. What is one motto you live by?
One motto I live by is from the book. One of my personal favorite book is The Four Agreements, and it talks about not taking anything personally. And in life, you know that everyone is kind of just in their own path, in their own journey. And some people might have a bad day and lash out at you, and you don't know what they're going through at all. And sometimes I might have a bad day and I might not smile at someone, and they might take it personally and think that I don't like them, but it's just me fighting my internal battles and not being able to give them a smile back. So that's one of the life model I try to live by, is just not take anything personally and just really be kind to others.
Thank you. Thank you. Jennifer?
What is your favorite Disney character?
My favorite Disney character would be Meg from Hercules. There's this song called, was it I Won't Say I'm in Love? And for me, I am a hopeless romantic, but I hate admitting that I like that person. I hate it so much. And, I'd rather be a hermit crab and just hide away than admit that I am falling for someone. And even though, like, I am a big hopeless romantic and I believe in fairy tales, I just can't see myself in that fairy tale. Thank you so much for all your questions. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Okay. Feedback for anyone. Yes, Denise?
Hi, Pauline. I think you did really good. The hand gestures were really good. I would just say for the first question specifically, so the question was, who's your favorite villain? I think it would be better if you were to add more personal input into it rather than just telling the judges what makes him a villain. So yeah, so like connect it to yourself and kind of explain why he is your favorite villain. And then, so yeah, just the format too, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you just told them, just so that the judges can go through a smooth transition instead of just waiting for, I guess, just waiting to confirm if you're finished, because those like 3 or 2 seconds really, really counts in your interview. And so, yeah, but overall, you did really good. I would say a 7 out of 10.
Very cool. Thank you. And yep, anyone else? Yes, Samantha?
Pauline, I love your intonation. I think you have such a calm, soothing presence. And I think that's something that will carry you well in the interview, because I think a lot of nerves are high during the interview. And if you can just keep your typical intonation and the way you speak, I think that will really help you for that portion in terms of keeping your confidence, but also showing who you are. I think I agree with Denise and what she said about um your content like was good, but if we can just give that little personal umph to it. I love the last question. I think you were just warming up because that last question you were able to really go into that and lean into why this is like who you are as a person. Did she drop off? No, hold on. Oh no, she's right there. Okay. Sorry, a lot of shifting around the screen. I think Pauline, your posture is really good as well. You seem very confident when you were talking about your things, but I think just fixing up those little small things here and there, and then working on like a finisher statement at the end as well. But for your first interview, I thought that was really good. I give it a 7.5.
Very good. Thank you. Chloe, I think you have feedback?
Just really quick, I know I personally struggle with talking really fast, and that's something you did a lot better than me on. Like, I love your like pace of talking. It's very understand, like I can understand everything you're saying. I don't know what the enunciation, I don't know what the correct term for it is. Like your articulation of words, it was very clear and it wasn't like rambling, which is sometimes like I always do that. So good job.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Jennifer?
So, Polly, I think that was really good. I was going to say something as Denise and Samantha. So, your very, very first question, I didn't feel like there was connection about you, and I can tell, like my question for you, your face like brightened up. Like you were like, oh yeah, I know how to answer this question. I want to answer this question. This is something I like. And with every single question, that's how we're supposed to feel. Okay. I just want you to know that, especially the very first question, okay? Because that first impressions are very important. So then when that first question comes out, go ahead and hit on it. Be like, oh, I like this villain because of this, and I feel because of this. I think it's amazing that this villain does this. Like, just go right at it. And, you know, put all your inner feelings into it because again, they want to know about you, not the villain himself. So yeah, because you know they may have already know the villain, but again, the interview is all about you, so mainly focus on you. Posture was really good. Hand gestures were great. And then your pacing of your talking was really good. I can see that you're kind of nervous still, and I know this is like your first interview, and that's okay. Just kind of like a tip for everybody. This is like for me, okay? Like every single time I go and present something, I always say to myself, like, "Oh, these people are just like people like me. Like I just need to see them like, you know, we're like equals. It's not like they're better than me or anything, which they are, but you know, just the fact that you know they're just exactly like you. They can be your friends and everything. So kind of like have that mindset is that fact that you know, there are people that you want to get along with, people that you can get along with, okay? Don't think of it more as if like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous because, you know, I need to listen to them. I need to make sure that I'm doing the right thing, okay? It's not the fact that you need to do the right thing, it's just the fact that they, you know, they're looking more towards you and just be yourself. And I think that's what Pauline you need to just do is just be yourself more. That way your context will be better. And so yeah. That's it. Oh, I'm sorry. And I think that'd be 7 out of 10 too.
Thank you, Jennifer. Wonderful. Overall, great job there at your first, probably one of the most chill and calm first interviews I've ever seen in my life. Pauline, very, very, very chill. First feedback I have for you, watch your nose. I counted about 5, almost 6 of those in there. The 1 or 2 fine, but watch your filler words, okay? Hand gestures are good. We can definitely build upon that. Otherwise, great job as your first interview. Well done, Pauline.
Thank you.
Now that leaves one person left, which gave us this today, Ashley.
I think Chloe had her hand raised. I don't know if she had one
wait, did
back.
you? Yeah, I thought.
Oh, okay. Also, this is my gamer setup, so I kind of need to rearrange. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I think, who was the last person to ask a question?
Well, you can't see me though. Let me turn off blur.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Who was the last person to ask a question? Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna start with you. Okay. Let me see.
How do I turn off blur?
Don't worry. We can see you. You don't blend in. Okay, it's off. Well,
Oh, it was auto blurring.
Yeah, we can see you. We can see you. All right. I'm gonna start with you. Okay, Denise. All right. You ready, Denise?
Hold on.
Something wacky to throw her off.
Okay, got it.
All right. In 3, 2.
Hi, Ashley. It's so nice to meet you. If you were to fight off zombies in a zombie apocalypse, who would you bring with you and why?
Thank you so much for this question, Denise. And I would bring my sisters. Since you only told me that I could bring one person, it would be my little sister. She's my best friend. And I think she really taught me a lot about how sisterhood is about just growing up in similar situations and relating to each other and relying on each other through those experiences. It's where I get my greatest sense of community. Thank you.
Thank you. Samantha.
Ashley, I loved that answer and hearing about your sisters. My question for you is, what is one defining quality that makes a woman a woman?
Thank you so much for this question. I really believe that a defining characteristic for women is our confidence, because I think that men often are just told that they get to exist in whatever space that they have. And as women, I think that quality of confidence is something that we build and we get to show the rest of the world. And I really hope I get to share that confidence with you all today.
Lena.
Hi, Ashley. Can you tell us about your favorite movie?
Thank you so much, Lena. My favorite movie is Arrival, and it is this sci-fi, and it has really beautiful music. For me, the music, if you know any music theory, it is in the circle of fifths, and it just means that along with the story of this science fiction where the language of the aliens goes in a circle, they understand life as a circle. to me, like the circle of fifths in the music element just makes it even more beautiful.
Thank you. Natalie?
Quick question. If you win this pageant, what would you do after?
Thank you so much, Natalie. I think immediately after, if I won this pageant, which would be a really big honor, I would probably celebrate with my family and friends and the sisters that I've made through this process. And then I think through my term as Miss Asian Global, I would really like to uplift the platform. I'm a transportation professional, and I really believe as a transportation professional that everybody deserves to get home safe, their friends and family. So I hope that happens tonight. I hope that happens every day. Thank you.
Judge Pauline?
What's your favorite color and why is it your favorite color?
My favorite color is periwinkle. I think it's a really unique color, and I think that being a part of this community is such a unique experience, and I would be so honored if I had that opportunity. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Ashley. Feedback from anyone? Samantha, Jennifer.
So Ashley, thank you for this. But I think that it was really good for your first interview. I really liked it a lot. Your like everything, like your posture was really good. You're very confident, and then your hand motions, you had a variety of hand motions, and so I think that was amazing, especially the circle part, like circle part. And then like what do you call it? So your pacing and your talking is really, it makes me feel very comfortable. Like I want to continue hearing about what you have to say, and I think that's really good. Pacing was really good. Context, I think context is really good. I think the first question you could go off a little more about it, maybe go off like even more about why, other than sisterhood, but how she would help you in apocalypse, and then like or what's something bad that she would do that maybe you can overcome or something like that. I don't know, it just depends. But I think that if you elaborate more on that first question, I think you wouldn't have to round out those last 10 seconds. I think that would help with the last 10 seconds so you don't have to be answering that last question. And so yeah, I think that it was really, really good. I would have to actually give you an 8 out of 10. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Feedback for anyone else?
I have my own feedback.
Okay, we'll save your own feedback for last. Okay, let's go with Lisa.
Wait, Samantha, did you have your hand up? Do you want to go first?
Oh, did you have your hand
Lisa.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Ashley, tens across the board for me. I loved how passionate you are and how what's the word I'm looking for? You were just like very enthusiastic about your answers, and that really shown. Sorry, I'm like really struggling with words today, but I think you did fabulous. I loved the explanation about fifths, like inserting a little bit about yourself, about music, and how that ties back to the movie and why you love it. I really think you did so amazing on your posture and your smile and how you spoke about the answers. Telling people like I hope they get home safe was so cool. So honestly for me, like I don't know what I would improve. I would do a 9 out of 10 for you.
Excellent. Thank you. Samantha.
Oh my gosh, Ashley, I agree with everything that everyone else said. And for a first interview, that was phenomenal. Can I start off with my score just because it was really, really good? I would say a 9.5. And I think I found one thing that you can improve on, but everything was amazing. The content, when you said music theory, I'm also like a huge music theory geek. So I was like, sorry, I'm just fangirling a little bit. But I thought your answers were amazing, Ashley. I really got to know you in that really short 3 minutes. You started off so strong in your interview. Your intonation and just the way that your presence was amazing. I think the one thing you can improve on is that very end. I noticed you were running out of time. Just keep up that same confidence that you had the whole time. I noticed you were kind of trailing off at the end. You don't need to trail off. You just keep going till the very end. Just keep being your usual amazing self. And I'm just really excited to see you grow even more through this interview process because you're setting the bar really high for your first interview.
Excellent. Thank you, Samantha. Anyone else have feedback for Ashley before she gives her own feedback? No? All right, Ashley, give your own feedback.
Thank you so much for all the positive feedback. This is not my first interview. I did Miss LA Chinatown and I was a title holder last year. And so I really joined this so I could be a part of a greater, like larger Asian American community and be a part of it. And so I'm really excited to keep growing through this pageant because mine was the first pageant after the pandemic. And this year I helped train the girls, so I have my own feedback from myself where I was like, oh, this is like my answers are all under 30 seconds. And I was noticing that, and I really, our pageant runs a little bit differently in the fact that we have a lot less time to talk about ourselves. So I'm very used to like doing very brief answers and trying to like get as much content out there as possible as quickly as possible. So I do think I wish I like had connected a little bit more to myself, like what Jennifer had said earlier.
Great insight there. Any other feedback before I give mine? No? All right. Yes, you pretty much caught on to what I was gonna say, Ashley, which was your answers. We went through I think 5 or 6 questions in 3 minutes, which is crazy, which is like 30 to 40 seconds a piece. And I was like, wow, she's just the questions here. And that's fine. But the fact that we have a 7-minute interview in real life means that you actually, my suggestions are between 45 seconds to about a minute for each question so that you don't have to feel like you're so rushed. You did get a good job of packing everything in 30 seconds, but knowing that this is a slightly different interview parameters, you can take a little more time out to share more about yourself. So otherwise, besides that, which is not so much a critique as it more is informational for you to start tailoring it out. Great job. Wonderful for a first interview. Well done. Absolutely well done. So that is everything that I have for everyone here tonight.
You have to take the video.
Oh, what? Photo. All right, let me see. I will only have one hand to do this because the other hand's got to take the photo. All right. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Got it. All right. Well done, guys. So I hope everyone learned something tonight. I encourage you guys to try to arrange time to practice with each other in between my group practices, because that is how you learn. Remember, this is more of a check-in and group session for me to keep tabs on how you guys are progressing. But the real strength comes from when you guys are also practicing in between these group sessions. I will be opening a second group session after the orientation. I would have sent out a poll in the main thread and let you guys vote on it. And based on what the most popular vote is, that'll be when the second session is going to kick in. Okay, so that'll be 2 1.5-hour sessions of group practice per week going forward after orientation. That you guys can go to one or the other or both of the same as well if you want like extra double practice. Okay. Also, for those of you who want to do one-on-ones with me, message me. I will set up one-on-ones with you each week to work on individual stuff like social platform, your introductions, your fun facts, things like that, things that are more individualized, and Q&A practices as well too. I'll also be bringing in other people to help work with you guys. Janice Hom is one of the girls, or one of the ladies that I'll be bringing in. She'll help me with practicing and rehearsing with you guys. Emily as well, if she has time, she will be she's going to be your walking coach, so she'll have her own 1.5-hour session each week as well too. So you're looking at about 4.5 hours of group practices from Mag alone. All right, and whatever you do on your own, and also one-on-one practices with me and or Emily. Emily, I think, does charge for her one-on-one practices because that's extra. Mine are, as everything else, free. So if you need anything else, you guys message me. But otherwise, great job. I will see you guys that are here in person at orientation. And those of you who are not here, well, I'll see you on Zoom in orientation. Okay? Any questions about orientation? Yes, Jennifer.
How does that work for us who are not in person? Like,
so you can look
too.
Huh?
Will we see you guys too?
Of course. You guys are gonna be like this is a Zoom call, except you'll see them very much like on the Zoom cam, so you'll see the whole crowd of people. They'll be in one class. So one of these squares there is going to be a picture of the whole class, and they'll be partitioned. We have a special camera that will zero in on certain speakers automatically through AI.
I like class, never mind. Forget that.
Any other questions about orientation this coming Sunday? Yes.
What do we need to prepare for the orientation?
Nothing really. We're gonna give you everything. I think we're gonna send those of you who are online. We'll be sending you electronic copies of all the documents for you guys to follow with. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Pauline.
Will we be going over like the entire schedule?
Yes.
Like,
You're gonna go over entire. So what we're gonna do over orientation is we're gonna go over the schedule of the entire summer from April 28th all the way to August 9th, pageant night. So everything that's due, all the timelines on when practices are scheduled. Also, we'll be going over our integrity points, which is essentially, they'll explain it to you, but you guys will all have 5% of your points already given to you at the beginning. If you do not follow instructions or things are late, those parts of those points will be deducted. So you do not want to lose points that way. As I've shown, you know what, let me just do this real quick for those of you who want to stay real quick here. I've shown this already, but might as well show it to you guys here. People like, oh, 5% points, if I lose a point here and there, no big deal. Let me just show this to you. Denise knows this already. But guys, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is, hopefully everyone watching this recording who can make it. So this was from 2022, and points are pretty much consistent like this, but you can see how this is basically this is how the scores work, how the girls did throughout different categories during that particular year. But look at the scores here, number 1 through 5, right? The score for number 1 was 90.9 points out of 100 points. The score for number 5 was 90.09 out of 100 points. That means that the top 5 girls are usually within 1 point of each other, like 1/10 of a point of each other. So that means that you do not want to lose points if you are getting for one of the top 5 positions, because even 1/10 of a point deduction can drop you into the next category. Okay, so do not be late on your assignments and the things that are due, because that's a really terrible way to lose points, because that's something you can totally control. We give you way ahead of time on what things are due, when they're due, and if you have any questions, ask us ahead of time so we can help you with it, but not like the day is due, because nothing we can do at that point. There's nothing we can do to help you. Let me see. Is there a separate invite? I just got a question here from Ashley. Is there a separate invite for people in person? Yeah. No, you just come, and I sent you, I think everyone on the, if you look on, did you guys all get the Google Calendar invite that I sent out? Okay, that should have all the information for both in-person and out-of-town people. So if you're out of town but you're going to come in person for it anyways, then definitely go to that address by 10:45 to 1430 Howard Avenue, Burlingame, and you'll be able to sit there in person with all your pageant sisters. If you cannot be there in person, then go onto the Zoom link, which is there, and we will be able to talk with you like this via Zoom. Okay, so but if you happen to be already in person, or if you're going to come up in person, then by sure you can just go there. Okay. Any questions about orientation? Yes, Denise.
Oh no, it's not about orientation, so go ahead.
Okay, Jennifer, any question about orientation?
No, it's not orientation either.
Okay, all right,
So
I'll go back to you. I'll go back to you, Denise. What's your question?
When are the delegate folders gonna be created?
I am going to talk with Crystal. She said she was going to create them this week. So let me double check, make sure that she's on top of that. If not, then I'll create them for you guys. Okay. Jennifer?
Okay, so you said that we can wear our sashes to our events, and
Yes.
pictures of that. Do I send those to you or do I
You can
send
send them. You can send them to me, and I'll send them, and I'll share them with the marketing team.
Okay, you just want to make sure.
Yeah, you can put them like in a Google folder and say, and send everybody a link. Say, Francis, here are my photos from the event that I was representing MAGA, and I'm like, got it, perfect. And I'll send it straight over to marketing.
Okay, and this might sound really bad, but can I purchase another sash during pageant week? I don't know why, but my S is like faded after I wore it. I'm like, why?
No worries. Take a picture of the sash, send it to me, and I'll send it to to Crystal for her to see if she can send you another sash.
Okay, I mean it's okay right now, but I'm gonna keep wearing it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I keep wearing it, it's gonna get bad. So
No
yeah,
worries.
this time
No
it's like
worries.
during pageant week, I just needed a new one during
No
pageant.
worries. Yeah, just send me a picture of it, and I'll share it to Crystal, and we'll find a way to get your replacement. Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions about anything or orientation? Yes, Colleen.
For the newcomers, I was just hopping off, like jumping off what Jennifer asked. What are the sashes that she was talking about?
She was talking about the sashes that was sent out. So all of you guys, and I gotta talk with Crystal to see whether he sent them out yet or not. But you guys are going to get sent a little care package, which will include little Miss Asian Global sash and a little baby Tara. So that is now your official crown and sash. And if you get on court this year, you will be upgraded to a court crown and sash. See? There you go. Beautiful. Thank you, Jennifer. Any other questions from anyone else? Yes.
I have another question. I was just wondering, are we bringing back Miss Social Media, or are we not doing that anymore at all?
I'm not sure. I think Crystal and them are still working on that, but they'll let you know every title that has been approved and are going to be awarded this Sunday. So unfortunately, I can't speak on behalf. That's really up to Crystal and the rest of the pageant directors to decide. Any other questions? No? All right, then I will see you guys all either in person or virtually this Sunday, right? Or if any of you guys are going to make it to the puppy pageant, I'll see you guys there on Saturday. Okay, take care, guys, and I will talk to you guys soon, okay?
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.